Hello everybody and welcome back to the BU podcast. As always, my name is Jess and I'm here with
Liv.
Oh, beautiful. It's lovely every single time. And our wonderful one-person guest today is, introduce yourself please.
Hi, so I'm Matt. I currently work here as a graduate intern, but before that I was a history student for 3 years, and I commuted for those 3 years.
Excellent. So, if you haven't already guessed by the last sentence that Matt said, this episode is all about commuting to university and what it was like. Because, Liv, did you commute or were you in halls?
I was in halls.
Yeah, so was I. I didn't commute. So, Matt, why did you choose to commute to university?
So there was a number of reasons, really. So the first one would have been just to be closer to my family, because I think I had an initial buzz of staying in accommodation, but the few months I had in between doing my A-level exams and going to uni, I kind of realised that I wanted to stay at home with my family. Yeah. Not all of my friends were going to uni, so I wanted to stay at home with my mates. I didn't really want those relationships to decay. Yeah. And then I guess also I had a part-time job on the weekends, so that was quite flexible. Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably why the three main reasons why I chose to.
They're like decent reasons as well. So, how far away from the university do you live?
So I live in Worthing, so it's about a 30-minute train ride. Yeah, if you're lucky.
On a good
Southern
day.
Rail.
Yeah. When is it a good day on the train? It's literally never. So, did you look at many other universities, or was kind of Chichester the only option for you?
So I actually came to Chichester on clearing. It wasn't actually my first choice. My first choice was Warwick.
You traitor.
Yeah, I know. I didn't really know much about the uni until clearing. I initially wanted to go to Warwick or Winchester, and they were both down for accommodation. But as I kind of wanted to commute in the end, my mind sort of shifted towards finding a more local uni. Yeah. So I did all my research on those ones, and Chichester did stand out the most.
Correct. That's the right answer. Well
Good
done.
answer.
Yeah, you win the
You
podcast. Congratulations. There's no prize, but carry on. So, did you have any concerns over commuting to university?
Yeah, there are a few. The first is obviously the reliability of trains. Because I went to college in Worthing, I used to get the train there. So I kind of knew a little bit bad. They could be a little bit bad. But that kind of, for me, it wasn't too bad with uni, because if you're late, it's not going to be like school where you're in trouble. And I think the other concern maybe would have been cost, but there are a lot of ways you can reduce that through rail cards or uni passes. That was probably my biggest concern, but you can reduce it by at least a third. Yeah. So definitely look at that if you're thinking about that.
That's good. So did you still get student finance even though you were living at home?
Not the maintenance loan, just the tuition loan. Yeah.
Damn, but I suppose you had a part-time job along the side.
Yeah,
so.
That's probably why I didn't go for the maintenance loan. Yeah. Otherwise I would have.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And did you find that your lecturers were like quite flexible with you? Like if your train was late or anything, you could like...
Yeah, definitely.
They were okay with it?
I had a few lecturers who also got the training. So it wasn't... So sometimes they'd be late as well.
Yeah. That's fine.
But everybody, I think, realises that, it's something that can't be helped. And people who drive as well will be late sometimes. Yeah. I think it's just maybe you notice it more with public transport because if it's late, it's really late. Yeah, unlike a 5 minute.
Yeah, it's dreadful.
I think that's what's great about uni, actually, is it is much more independent. If you turn up 10 minutes late, you haven't got to do the whole, sorry, sir, I'm late.
Thinking of an excuse.
It's like, okay, no problem.
Yeah, it's chill. It's fine. Don't worry that you're late. It's okay. Yeah. I found like the lecturers are absolutely fine if you're not like dead on time.
You don't have people sort of staring at you as you walk past to your seat.
It's Matt.
Of that.
It's like, he gets the train. Poor Matt. Feels so sorry for him. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So did you know anybody before coming to uni, or was it like completely fresh, completely new? You knew nobody going in?
I had a few mates who were going to Chichester.
Hey, that's good.
They did different courses though, so I didn't commute with them at the same time. But it was someone else in the same boat, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So did you find that you were in like every day, or did you like have some days at home, and then, or were you like commuting, getting the train every single day?
Generally, throughout my 3 years, it would have been 2, maybe 3 days at most of being in at uni.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't think I had more than 3. No.
That's not too bad. Were you in like all day, like in the morning to the afternoon, evening?
That would depend. Sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes it was just the one lecture. So, for example, I can recall having to wake up really early Monday morning for one at 9:30, be done at 11:30, get the train home, and then I've got the rest of the day to myself.
Yeah.
But then Fridays typically were the longest day. You'd be in from like 10 to 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But yeah.
That's a long time. Yeah.
That is great with history, though. What I do like politics, so we're on kind of similar courses. It's a lot more independent work rather than like active practical courses. So like I only had 8 hours in my first year, and I was like, this is so little. Oh my goodness, I'm used to a full timetable. But actually, there's a lot more work that's done outside of that.
Yeah, you fill your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because I remember saying how the contact hours I had to other people who were at different unis, and they were quite surprised. They'd say, oh, I'm in, 20 hours, 25 hours. But I think just because of the nature of humanities, you can do a lot of it as independent study, and that's how they want you to do it. And it doesn't mean that they're still there to be contacted, even if you're at home.
A lot of the contact is done through email anyway, particularly during the
exactly.
pandemic. You can't actually see any lecturers anyway, so I think it doesn't really make all that much difference because they're living around the country anyway, lecturers. I mean, a lot of mine are from London, so it would take a lot for them just to pop down to chat for a 10-minute chat. But they do have office hours, of course.
Yeah, like all courses. So obviously, Matt, you got the train. So if I were to ask you about driving in, I feel like that would be a silly conversation. But you are able to drive in, and you can park on campus as well. So we have a student parking permit that you can get, and it costs you £1.35 a day to park in our lovely, lovely car park if you wanted to do that. And apparently there are 850 parking spaces across both campuses. How exciting is that?
That is so exciting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
New bit of information I never knew.
No, that's
I have
something
to
I
bear
didn't
that in
know.
mind for when I learn to drive.
Yeah, exactly. You can park in all 850 spaces at once if you wanted to.
You can buy 850 cars and fill them all.
Just take them all for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Or just get a really big car that covers 850 spaces. Yeah, just tape loads of buses together. Done. I think that's the answer.
This conversation has gone down a very
Hasn't
odd
it just?
route.
Right,
Fantastic.
Let's just move past taping buses together. Oh, God. But we also have our university buses as well that kind of go campus to campus, so they're free for all students with your student cards.
And you can also, if you wanted to, you can get the bus down to the train station. So if I never did personally, because it's only about a 20-minute walk from Chichester to the uni. But if it was raining or if you were carrying a lot of books, it is there. It's
not too bad. And you can cycle as well. We've got bike houses.
We've got cycles.
We got, what are they? Where do you store?
Bike racks.
Bike racks, not bike houses.
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
We've got two of them on campus.
Yeah, definitely. So you can cycle, you can get the train, you can get the bus. It's completely up to you if you want to commute to uni. So the big question is all about social life. So what was Freshers' Week like for you?
Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was that much different to someone in accommodation.
That's good.
I did have a big fear of it at first because I thought, oh, they're all going to have met each other, they're all going to know each other, and I'm going to be on the sidelines sort of thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't true at all. I quickly got to meet a load of people on my course and outside my course as well. We did go to the Freshers' Fair. We were able to attend events. I think the key thing is just making sure you can get home, or if you've met a mate, and it's quite early on, but sometimes you're able to stay around theirs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely plan that out. that's probably the key bit. But it wouldn't hold you back. You're all in the same boat.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
all new, and just because people are in accommodation meeting each other, they're still relatively new to each other.
Yeah,
So
exactly. We're all nervous.
yeah.
We're all scared. We're scared as a
Obviously,
little group.
pandemic situation has made things a bit more difficult, but there's always a floor to crash on.
Yeah.
Like I think that's just how we live as a community. We're very much encouraged to support each other and protect each other and make sure we all get home safely. And if that means you have to crash on the floor, then
Yeah, do it.
it's not even questioned. So yeah, I mean, other people have crashed on other people's floors that live on campus and live in halls.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't
It
think
happens all the time. That's
I
just one of
don't
those
think
things.
it really makes a difference whether you commute or not.
No, I wouldn't say so. So did you join any sport teams or societies?
I didn't know, but that's because it clashed with work commitments. Otherwise, I would have. Otherwise, I would have looked at football and American football, maybe.
Cool, yeah. I didn't join any sport teams or societies either, so we're on the same boat there. Did you find it easy to make friends?
Yeah. Like I said, I did have that worry. The same with Freshers Week. But your lectures at the start, they're sort of designed to help you integrate with your
Yeah.
course mates.
All the awkward icebreakers that they
Yeah,
make us do.
you'll find that your first week or two can be more. It'll be more seminars than lectures.
Yeah.
You might have more group work and presentations,
Yeah.
and that's just designed so you get to know people.
Yeah.
You might have a module where you are all in as like the whole cohort. If it's not, so in history, it's a fairly smallish cohort compared to sports. So you might have one big lecture where you're all in together.
Yeah.
And so you kind of recognise everyone's faces after time, and you get to know their names, and then you make friends that way.
Yeah, that's good. Were most of your other commuting students from your course as well, or did you find other people who commuted that were on different courses?
Say it was a mix. So in history, there are definitely a few that commuted.
That's cool.
Same with politics and a few others. I think with sport, there are maybe a few more that stayed in accommodation, but it is fairly balanced.
That's good. And Liv, question for you. I
Oh
know.
my gosh,
I know.
my claim to fame.
Now's the time, Liv. Brace yourself. Do you have any friends that commute to uni?
I do. I have quite a few, actually. I think I know a friend who actually lived in halls in first year and then decided to live at home in second and third year. So it's kind of, you can always change your mind. You don't have to stick to one and do that for the whole 3 or 4 years that you're here. You can switch it up. But yeah, I do have a couple of friends on history courses who commute. I think because of the smaller number of contact hours, it kind of makes more sense for some people to live at home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to what Liv said about it's not you don't have to commute for 3 years straight. I almost moved into accommodation in the second year, not halls of residence, but like a house with other people from history. So I think that's really key if you're thinking about commuting or accommodation, because it's definitely not something that you have to live with.
No.
You can definitely change your mind and it won't impact you, and you can still apply for the maintenance loan in the second and third year.
Yeah.
Even during the year, if you're really unhappy with either or, whether you're living at home and it's not working or you're in halls and it's not working, the accommodation office will be accommodating of that. It's not a problem.
It's in their name.
It's literally in their name.
Yeah.
I did think that I worded that incredibly well when I said it.
You did, yeah. Well done, Liv.
I think this university definitely has kind of an important emphasis on mental health, and if you're unhappy somewhere, then that's something that they can sort and look into. So definitely don't suffer in silence if you're hating one or the other.
No, definitely. There's absolutely no point in doing that. Won't get you very far.
No.
That's not the way to live. So we've had some questions from social media. How exciting!
Ooh,
I know. Isn't this
we're
cute?
popular.
Aren't
This is
we?
very
Of
exciting.
course, people listen to us. How exciting! So the first question is: I'm nervous I will miss out by not staying in halls. Is there a way to not miss out on anything?
You definitely won't miss out if you don't stay in halls. So I'd say the way to not miss out is by putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
making the most of Freshers Week, making the most of those first few weeks of your lectures and seminars where they are more interested in you meeting and getting to know your fellow students rather than actually how well you do it. Obviously it's important how well you do, but yeah, definitely make the most of it.
Yeah. It's a case of like throwing yourself into everything as well. Like I'd say that goes to anybody living in accommodation as well. Just try and do as much as possible, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And don't worry if you can't get to evening socials. I know that there's going to be a massive push next year to try and get some in the day socials. So things like, casual game afternoons in the SU that are not surrounded by alcohol and drinking as well, because I know that promotes a lot of anxiety for people travelling late at night as well. So that's something that I know that the SU are looking into, which will be fantastic.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question from social media is, what's the best way to get to campus? Bus, train or driving?
That depends on whereabouts you're commuting from, really. But I also would say it's probably down to preference. If you're driving, you won't be able to relax as much as you can on a train or bus. So yeah, it's down to personal preference, whether you can drive, obviously.
Yeah. If you can't drive, don't drive to campus.
Yeah, don't. I wouldn't recommend
Safety
it.
warning, alert, alert, do not drive if you cannot drive.
There you go. That's top tips.
But yeah, if you were doing, say, for example, during your dissertation, which can be quite stressful, it might be worth just getting the. It might just be worth getting
a little scream then.
It might.
Fun.
That's all right. It might just be worth getting the train or the bus because you might just want to unwind rather than having to focus on the road and those
use the
around
journey
you.
to calm down, that kind of thing, to try and forget about
For
it.
me, it's equidistant to drive or to get the train.
Yeah.
So.
It's up
And
to
it's
you.
a similar cost.
Yeah, there's no correct answer. So, Matt, do you have any kind of general advice for people commuting to uni?
I'd say my biggest advice is probably to give yourself enough time, and it might sound a bit silly, but in my experience, I think if you give yourself half an hour, so you leave half an hour early than you would, you'll be so much more relaxed about it. You won't be stressed out if the train's delayed.
Yeah.
You get to lectures just before, so you've got enough time to buy a drink or get something to eat. If you were to go just at the last minute, it could throw up all sorts of troubles.
Yeah.
That's what gets people stressed.
Yeah.
So
Get it to be early.
I know if someone is late, like one of my friends, they'll just email and just be like, I'm really sorry, I'm running a few minutes late. It's just respectful. They don't mind, really. But
that's what I
if it
do.
makes you feel less anxious, just do that. And it takes 5 minutes and it'll make you feel a little bit calmer.
It's all about time
These things
management.
happen. People are late.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. And nobody
Yeah,
really
exactly.
minds. So, Liv, queen of social media, you know what's coming.
I know.
Go for it. I don't even need to ask the question anymore.
So you can join the conversation at Instagram at University of Chichester or on Twitter at ChiUni, or you can email us at studyhere@chi.ac.uk, or final one, you can hashtag ChiUni.
Excellent. So, thank you so much, Matt, for coming and
Thank you.
Thank you for
answering all of
having
our
me on.
questions. Yes, thank you. So, it's goodbye from all of us here. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.